As a sports fan, my favorite day of the year is the NFL draft. It's a day of hope for teams, whether they were at the bottom of the totem pole or won the Super Bowl. An opportunity for teams to either reinvent themselves or solidify themselves as Super Bowl contenders. An opportunity for everyone to be in the excitement of annual change. Now imagine you've been training for 5 years. You are a qualified candidate in your field and eager to show what you can do. But instead of putting the pads on every Sunday, you put on a tallis every Shabbat. You are a rabbinical student, sitting by your phone waiting for a phone call from either a Super Bowl caliber organization or a team looking for a new leader on the field. And like an NFL draft pick, your life and career can be made or broken by the ringing of a phone. Before I begin, I want to go over and review what a rabbi actually does. What is the role of a rabbi? Something I think that the Jewish world has been struggling with for over 100 years. Rabbi Mordechai Kaplan in the early 20th century was only referred to as minister by his community, Congregation Kilat Jeshurun, an Orthodox synagogue in New York City. How could it be that Rabbi Kaplan wasn't rabbinic enough? Was he not a scholar, the epitome of a teacher? So too has the role of the rabbi changed in the modern world, mainly due to the qualifications of our rabbinical schools. Orthodox seminaries, smicha programs continue to have focus on Talmud and Jewish law, while more liberal seminaries invest themselves in pastoral care and practical outside experiences. The ideal quarterback for centuries stood in the pocket, took his time, and threw the ball down the field. Games were won or lost by the arm strength of the quarterback and his accuracy. That is no longer the case today. Many NFL systems have mobile quarterbacks. They all require the quarterback to move and run in their system frequently. The modern rabbi is different. For centuries, rabbis would teach and preach and pray. They would visit the sick, attend life cycle events, and continue their studies. But today, the expectation is a much wider range. A rabbi today is the lead fundraiser. He is a CEO. He needs to act like a CEO. He needs to work like a CEO. He needs to dress like a CEO. There are synagogues who give stipends to rabbis to wear nicer suits and attend larger events. A rabbi is like an NFL quarterback. He is the face of his franchise. He needs to attend to large crowds, even speak to the media, and be in the trenches getting those endorsements. When the quarterback comes off the field, he is often excited from a win or demoralized for a loss. And it doesn't stop people from bombarding him and having to answer questions. And so too, with the flip of a switch, a rabbi needs to change his agenda. At one moment, he could be consoling a family who has lost a child. And a half hour later, asking for $15,000 to support their educational program. Like the evolution of the quarterback has changed the game of the NFL, so too has the professionalization of the rabbinate changed the game of a synagogue. The synagogue budget and making sure that the organization work is as much Torah as Torah itself. Finances are of a major concern, more so while synagogues' staffs downsize. Synagogues are in a business outside of prayer and education. They need to compete with Federation dollars, JCC programming, and outreach from organizations like Kolel and H. And as trans-denominational Judaism continues to blossom, rabbis need to continue to stretch their field. So today, in order for us as the Jewish people to be victorious, we need to go back inside our playbook and reinvest in our synagogues. Synagogues today need to become the priority rather than the luxury. If we look at any NFL team, any NFL franchise competing for a Super Bowl, they have a core, they have their synagogue in the middle and are able to build around them. We're going to have 3 play calls. The first, we're going to encourage the ordinary Jew to come back inside the synagogue on Saturday mornings. Forget about grabbing a little bit of your Judaism over here and a little bit of your Judaism over here. but rather a commitment inside to be back on the bandwagon of your team and to solidify your team's future. The Talmud Yerushalmi in Brachot states, "He who does not enter a synagogue in this world will not enter a synagogue in the world to come." So let's re-enter the synagogue together and just see what happens. Second down. The world is changing. The Jewish world is changing, and society is different. Millennials are getting married at a later age and having children well into their 30s. Day schools are outpricing students and families. We need to embrace this change and understand and learn from it and be proactive. To think outside the box, but inside traditional Judaism. For example, the sermon slot. Often the rabbi sits there and preaches, but instead, let's view it as a platform for education. To bring in heated debates, speaker series, or organizations like Storytelling, who can look at the Parsha from a different lens. It's time for these synagogues to reinvest and understand the life of a rabbi. The greatest thing my synagogue ever did for me was allow me one Shabbat off a month. What a radical idea to allow the rabbi off on Shabbat, but a tremendous insight into the life of a rabbi. This has allowed me sufficient and significant time with my family, the ability to attend other synagogues to hone my craft and to reflect and give perspective on my synagogue and congregation's Jewish experience. Just as an NFL quarterback needs ample time to recover, so too does the rabbi need time to think. The synagogue movement has always been the most intimate way for Jews to reach other Jews and to practice Judaism. It is and will be the most comprehensive way to serve the Jewish people. By coming back into synagogue, in attendance, and rooting on our team, to being proactive with the changes in the Jewish world, and reinvesting in our franchise quarterback, the rabbi, by supporting them with fundraising, education, and opportunities to recuperate. The synagogues can thrive again. The game plan to win the Super Bowl, to reach the largest amount of Jews, is through the synagogue. It's not through J-Date. It is not through a 10-day Israel trip, and it's not through the Maccabi experience. Because synagogues are there to care for your families, to educate your youth and adults, and to be a part of a team. It's time for us to begin to look inwards to ensure and solidify the future of our franchise. Thank you.
Thanks for watching Eli Talks. Click through or subscribe to the Eli Talks channel for more inspired Jewish ideas.